I hate you, Comfort Access. Leave me alone.
And I try to add a little flavor.
Yeah, you did. You were like,
No, I can't.
you hit one of these.
No, I can't.
You can.
Welcome to Downshift, everyone. Today we have a very interesting comparison.
Yes, we've spent the last week with the Ioniq 5N, something that I was very interested in. You guys remember earlier this year I debuted my 2021 BMW M340i. I bought this car in January, and there were a couple other cars that I was considering. Some we've even revisited on the channel since having bought this, and we've done our own head-to-heads. But this was the only EV that I considered before buying this. So today we're gonna go through our usual categories and see if I made the right decision.
Okay, now we turn these things into V.
V mode. Oh. Just make sure that
you're gonna blur my feet. Okay, well we are gonna start where we always start, which is kind of the performance driving or the track driving.
Yeah.
So Matt had the luxury of taking it up there, so we're gonna ask him for how it was, his experience. But first, just walk through the power figures with everyone. So the Ioniq 5N, 600 horsepower, 641 in NGB, 0 to 60 in about 3.1 seconds.
Yeah.
Adaptive everything. Lap time.
57.35 seconds, which technically is 500ths of a second the fastest car we've ever had around the track. Faster than an M3 comp.
The smaller motorplex, yeah, which is
yes,
still
which I was
very
shocked.
impressive. I did not think it was going to be that either.
Yes.
The BMW, as we all know, the 3-liter turbo straight 6, 8-speed ZF X-Drive. So I guess kind of compare...
382 horsepower, 369 pound-feet.
Yes.
A little bit different because the exhaust adds whatever they say, like 10 to 15 or something.
So walk us through the experience, because obviously I drove that on track, but not this. So
yeah.
Walk us through the experience behind the wheel when you were on the track behind both of these vehicles, and how were they different?
Yeah.
How was it similar? What surprised you?
So we'll start with this. This is a known quantity, so I'll just cover this real quick. So this is obviously B58, really smooth, very predictable power, especially for a turbocharged engine, but 225s. This car is tire limited and brake limited. Had we upgraded brakes, there's probably another half a second to maybe a second, but we're still at 1:0.77 I think on this car. Now it was like 1:03 with the old Bridgestone All Seasons, but with these new Kumho Exta PS91s, shaved a load of time off, so it's no longer, of course you'd have a little bit more grip, you'd have a bit better lap time, but what really feels like this car is being limited by is braking and what else did I say?
You still said tread.
Yeah. So it's a little bit tread limited, but I do feel mostly on brakes. Yeah. But this car, I was really impressed because this car is like 4,800 pounds, 4,861 just about, and it's an EV, and it also has like the shifting mode and then just normal electric full power deployment thing, right? So I was going to do 4 hot laps was the plan. 600 horsepower, 641. I never actually used the NGB button because the straights are not long enough,
right?
And to be honest, I literally forgot about it because there's so much going on at any given time. So I wanted to do 2 tests with this car, the Ioniq 5, because I wanted to do 2 laps in normal electric deployment, the non-shifting mode, because then you can have the N pedal on. So like the max regen for like track usage.
And it'll go as soon as you lift off your foot.
Yes, which was really nice because there's 3 different levels. So 1 is the least and then all the way up to 3. So I had it on 3. So basically the second that I come off throttle, it's applying brakes.
Very nice,
but it's not applying enough braking to like upset the balance of the car. And I normally hate one pedal driving, I can't stand it. But on the track, I actually really kind of liked it because I could go deeper because I wasn't 2-foot driving. I'm not super comfortable with that. So the time it takes me to go from throttle to brake, it was reducing that time a little bit and getting some regen and getting some braking done. So it actually worked really well in the N pedal mode. That was also the mode that I set the fastest lap time in. And then the next 2 laps, I had used the shifting, which felt more organic and natural.
So just real quick, before you go into it, the E-shift, just so everyone is on the same page, it basically, how would you describe it? It replicates a traditional gearbox and a ICE engine, basically.
Right. So you're gaining revs, you're building power through the revs, so it's not giving you full power right away. You are building it.
The torque band looks completely different when this is in E-shift versus
So by definition, you are getting less performance.
Yes.
For sure.
Yep.
And that did reflect in the lap times. But what I was so impressed with this car, so yeah, when I was in shifting mode, it felt more normal. Like it felt like a much more, like I was more comfortable with the experience.
Yes.
I could understand where I'm going to be shifting, where I'm not. So I liked driving in that mode better, but I could tell that it felt faster in the non-shifting mode.
Yeah, makes sense.
But I was really, really, really impressed with the way that this car balanced its chassis, the way that it felt natural and organic around mid-corner and corner exit, where I could kind of start to rotate with power, so I could get myself through some of those downhill braking zones and through some of those other corners. The brakes were fantastic. They started to go away a little bit after lap 4, but I was kind of wringing this thing's neck a little bit. And then the tires started to get, I think, a little too hot around lap 4 too. So we did 2 cool downs and then 2 more hot laps. But I was really impressed with the balance that this thing had around the track. It was very complete. Braking was there, steering feel was there, power was obviously there, and then even when you're not in shifting mode, it's still playing some sound, which I think was a nice thing to have, just from like a mental standpoint of keeping me engaged and keeping me in it and focused. So I was really, really impressed with that car, and the time reflects.
Yeah, I think just my comments on spirited driving, to your point about the M340i, like very linear power band, right? I mean, I think we kind of covered all that. But the Ioniq 5N, I think for its weight, it's very impressive how it handles.
Yeah, 100%. This definitely feels lighter. It feels more natural. Yeah. It feels like I can play with the back end a little bit more than this car, but that thing's very buttoned up.
Did you try anything with the drift mode?
I did not try drift mode.
Okay.
I'd already taken some life out of the tires, so.
I think Throttle House did a pretty comprehensive review, and they do a little bit of that. So if you're curious how that works or their experience, check that video out too.
Yeah, there's a bunch of videos with the drift mode and all that stuff.
So
very good on track.
Styling. I think this one's obviously kind of subjective, but we can just hit the highs real quick. I mean, I personally love the hatchy, sporty SUV look of this. Yeah. I love the futuristic, archaic, or not archaic, arcade-looking headlights and taillights.
Sure, yeah, it's like very cyberpunk, 80s.
Yeah, I think the wheels are really good. I really like the flared hips. The active aero looks really good. I think my only complaint from a styling perspective with this is the color choices.
Yeah.
I don't love the color choices. The M340i, you know, this one's kind of done up, right? You have the black wheels, the blue calipers.
It's got like the carbon package on it.
The splitter, yeah, the carbon package. It looks cooler than your typical 3 Series, but
it's a 3 Series.
Yeah, it kind of blends in, right? Yeah. The Ioniq 5 is a very unique looking vehicle. I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that.
Yeah, no, I think you're right about the color. The Soltronic orange, while it is a good orange, it's got some flake in it, it looks good. It's not for me. And part of that has to do with the fact that there's already orange on the outside of the car and it mismatches.
The accent orange, it doesn't match.
Yeah, it doesn't match
entirely.
Which just rubs me a little bit. If I were to buy this car, it would either be black or the gray. So you can either get a matte blue, the matte performance blue, or the matte Ecotronic gray, whatever it's called. I kind of would have liked the Ecotronic gray in a gloss, but I think those darker colors would kind of help bring out the personality.
You can also get this. You can also get this in white, but all the black trim pieces that you see here remain black, so it's almost like half black, half white.
And even that front like gray canard thing. There's a lot of things going on with
the
styling.
Yeah.
It's very busy, but I think it's done very, very well. Not perfect, but very, very well. And yeah, with my car, I love it. It's a clean look, but it is more pedestrian. Doesn't draw as much attention, even with some of the carbon stuff on it.
Agreed.
But yeah, both handsome.
Road driving. Let's let you kick it off.
Yeah. Again, with the tires here, shout out to Kumo for these Exta PS91s.
Took off the run flats.
They are so much nicer. There's so much less harshness in. It's been comfort accessing all day.
It's basically saying, watch out what you're saying about me.
Yes, it's like, it folded its ears in, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I know what's coming, I don't want to hear it.
I can only hear so much of Matt saying that he wants an Ioniq 5N.
Yes.
Subliminally.
But no, I mean, the tires make a big improvement. It's still pretty harsh. But even despite all the like bumps and rattling and the vibrations through driving, nothing's rattled loose in the cabin. So this is very easy to drive day to day. I drove it up to the lake the other weekend. Even this weekend, I got like 37 mpg on the highway. That's like insane.
Yeah, that is great.
With 400 horsepower. Like that's just, I don't know how they do it. The B58 is a cheat code, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it's a very easy thing to drive day to day. The ride is a little bit stiff, the steering's a little bit heavy, but the rest of it, the visibility is good, it's all good. And then the Ioniq 5 is like the perfect split personality. We talk about this a lot with performance
Jekyll
cars.
and Hyde.
Yes, that's exactly what it is, because you can be at like full volume on the limiter and then doing the crazy shifts, and it's just blistering fast, and then you hit drive mode and then it goes back to eco mode, and it's just like quiet and super smooth. It's like legit slow in eco mode.
No, it really is.
It's like slow.
You need to put your foot in to get anywhere.
Yes. I love the fact that you can have both though, because I know that my wife does not like the volume on my car.
Right. Yours is kind of...
It's loud.
Yes.
I like the sound. AWE does a great job, but I am going to get the resonator.
So my thoughts on that real quick. I think they're both very stiff. I get yours is a bit better with the tires that you got now. I do think if I were to get an M340i and that wasn't yours, I would opt for the adaptive suspension
for sure.
I think that would be ideal.
Yeah. Everywhere on the forums, it's like get the adaptive suspension.
I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to say.
The only other thing that I would say about this Ioniq 5 is I've driven all of the N cars from Hyundai. This is the best daily driving one. The ride is so much softer than an Elantra, definitely than a Kona, and the Veloster too. This is easily.
We talk about it later, but I will just mention it here because it has to do with road driving. But the seats, for being bucketed, are extremely comfortable.
It's a good seat.
Yeah,
it's the same seat that's in all the other N stuff, but it's good.
Yeah,
it's a good seat.
So trunk space, the Ioniq 5N, 26 with the seats up, 66 cubic feet with the seats down.
I think it's just 60 cubic feet with the seats down.
Okay.
But this is 17.
Yes.
So obviously sedan versus hatchback. I don't know. It's a hassle.
Smaller.
It's
smaller.
Always going to be smaller. It's just inherently sedan versus hatchback, or SUV, whatever Hyundai's calling it.
So then interiors. So then I guess I'll just quickly start. I'm being cautious not to raise my feet, so you can keep that down there. So you have the black interiors. The only color you can get. There's a little bit of blue contrast, like in the stitching and on your air vents. The new center console versus the Ioniq 5, I like that.
I love it.
There's so
much better use of space.
Yep, absolutely. You have heated and cooled seats here. Light up N in the seats as well. That's really cool.
Yep. But manual seats?
Yeah, but I mean that's not a huge deal.
But it's weird. Like you're gonna go to the bother of heating them and cooling them, but you're gonna leave them manual.
It's
just a weird thing.
Yeah,
to me.
you're gonna omit a few things, right?
I guess.
You can't even get cooled seats.
I know, but like, why not have them powered?
They're trying to save weight. It already weighs so much.
I'll take the weight. It's fine.
So I guess interior-wise,
it'll be just as fast as an M3 comp.
The BMW feels more luxurious inside.
Yeah,
and I think the one thing with the Ioniq 5N, like the door panels, they're just lackluster, right? They're just very plain.
Right.
You have ambient lighting in both. This is only one zone. I think yours is only one zone.
It's only one zone, and I have very few colors. I actually do have two zone because I can get. There's like 3 or 4 different colors.
It's like white and another.
But
color,
it's like
right?
it's like color and white.
Yes.
And then when you have that, it's like mostly white.
Yep, and you can't
so
really.
Like, why would I want this? But yeah, you have more color options here. But yeah.
Can't get a panel roof in the Ioniq 5N, which is something that I do like, but I understand why you.
So would you rather have a panel roof or powered seat?
Panel roof.
Really?
All day. Let us know in the comments which one would you prefer. Would you rather have? Yeah.
Leave it in the comments. We'll see.
Let us know.
We'll see.
Not many customizable options in the Ioniq 5N. I think you can only pick paint color, and that's it.
I think that might be it.
Only thing.
Which is it's very classic Hyundai N, because even in the Elantra N,
all N cars, yeah.
It was just what gearbox do you want? What color do you want?
Yep.
And that's pretty much it. You can get like wheel locks and stuff, but like for options, they give you everything. So it's not like you're missing anything.
Right. No, you have all the bells and whistles. But I get it. For them, it's nice because they're optimizing their supply chain and their
manufacturing is going to be way easier.
Their manufacturing lines, yeah, correct.
Just throw everything at it.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't mind it, but yeah, for the interiors, like this is, even though it doesn't have the Vernasca, even though it's a little bit cheaper, it still feels a little bit more luxury. This still, at no point does it fool me into thinking it's not a Hyundai.
Yeah, your back is just really sweaty in the
My back is sweaty. It won't be in that though.
Right.
But I'll have to move my seat myself.
Okay, that's such a big deal to Matt, apparently.
Apparently.
Would you rather have cooled seats or manual?
I would rather have cooled seats every day.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just fussing.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so tech. You.
Both have wireless CarPlay. Both have Android Auto. Both have 360 cameras. This one has the reverse assist, which I like, and mine has head-up display.
Yep.
That one weirdly doesn't have head-up display, but you can get it in Canada. Explain it. Make it make sense to me.
That is weird.
I guess they're pretty neck and neck. Aside from the head-up display thing, they're neck and neck.
Yeah.
Digital cluster for both. This one or that one shows you a lot more stuff. There's way more customizability that you can do in that thing, almost to a nauseating degree.
Yeah, I was gonna say almost too much.
It's definitely too much, I would say.
You need a.
But yeah, you can do so much with that car.
You need a bachelor's degree to figure out.
You do.
How to work all the functions in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
The tech is very similar.
Price. So the Ioniq 5N, $67,500 if you don't pay for a color, and then you do get the $7,500 rebate if you lease it.
If you lease it.
Even not if you buy it.
Yeah. There's a lease special as of this filming right now where you can lease it for $1,105, I think, or maybe it's $1,150. And I did the math. By the time you go through all your lease payments, and when you buy it out at the end, you're at like $56,000. So actually, you save some money.
Yeah.
Somebody will check my math. I'm sure I'm wrong, but it's not a bad deal.
Right. The BMW starts just under $60,000. $2,000 less if you get the rear-wheel drive.
Yeah. So by the time you're speccing this out, like when I went to BMW's website to spec this out, like a new one,
like a 24,
it's about $65,000. So these cars are priced as close as makes no difference, which I think is really the main thing here.
Yeah.
Like these things don't compete. This is EV versus combustion. They don't compete, but at the same time, kind of similar performance, very similar price, and it raises some questions. And I think it raised some questions for me, which is why I was considering buying that.
Which comes to
our last topic.
The last topic. Which one would you choose?
Should I have bought the Ioniq 5N?
Yeah, and I guess like your justification for getting that, right? You said the pricing wasn't released yet. You thought it was just going to climb and climb. You thought it was maybe going to be between 70 and 75. Turns out it's quite a bit lower. I think you were also just sick of your CX-5 and you just kind of wanted something.
Yeah.
But now, having driven both, knowing the price, if you were to make a decision today...
We decided to film under flight paths,
yeah,
apparently.
Seriously. At least it's not the air show.
Yeah.
But if you were to make that decision today, what do you think you would do?
Yeah, so some context...
Granted, knowing you also got that, you bought it used, and it was...
47.
Right.
So yeah, a big difference. But I bought this at the beginning of the year. Content was light. I was really itchy. I wanted to get something. I was really excited about this. I was excited about the M5, and then I got really excited about this. And the channel was also in a different place. So like a lot of like personal things have gotten better, and I could maybe justify swinging the money to this now. But I don't think I was ready to swallow a $65,000 pill in January. You know, things have moved on. My situation's changed a little bit. What I will say, I think I will own this. I don't know exactly when, but I think that will be my next car. So that's the bomb. I'm very, very deeply impressed with this car.
I feel like I would actually say the same, that I think I will eventually own an Ioniq 5N.
That's wild to me, because I didn't expect... I knew that you would like this. I didn't think you'd want to own one.
I just don't know, like, what else would I get? I mean...
You've talked about M3. You really like the X6M.
I guess it depends where the M3 competition pricing is.
Yeah.
But...
On the used market, you mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. In a few years.
For the G chassis cars, so this generation M3, it's such a good car.
It is.
And they're very close on track, so that could be a fun day.
I do wish that they spent, like, I don't know if is it the sound or is it the speaker that it comes out of? I just think if they like perfected that, that would be huge. And if you were able to upload your own sounds to it, like I know how Tesla, right, you can customize some of the with the turn signals and the horn
Right.
with your own sounds. I mean, I think if they could do that here, to your point, if you could get like a LC500, you know, V8,
Yeah.
Lexus V8, that would just be awesome.
Yeah, that's what we talked about. We talked about that in the pros and cons video. So there's the sound there, the mapping and the engagement and like the experience of shifting and like rev limiter and all that stuff is perfect. The sound just sounds a little bit synthesized, where it's like, it's 85 to 90% there. It's very, very close. But yeah, the first person that's gonna bring like a DLC pack with like flat plane Ferrari V8, LC500 5-liter V8, you know, Audi or Lamborghini V10, like the first person to bring that to market, here's my whole wallet.
Well, and I'm wondering,
buying it.
like, are these exhaust companies working on that sort of thing? I think they must be, like AWE, like, are they working
I think
on it?
Borla's doing something about this.
or
I don't know if
Borla.
they have it mapped to like the shifting thing, but I know that they've been demoing like fake sounds for like lightnings and stuff.
It's nice to hear that they are working on that.
And I know that there's some people that are going to be in the comments like, oh, it's fake, like, oh, this, you get all upset about this fake sound. We were in an XM label, the pinnacle of what BMW's M division supposedly can make right now. And that sounded just as synthesized as this.
Yeah.
There's the Hans Zimmer thing going on.
I think the people...
It's still V8, but it's all of the stuff is being pumped in through speakers anyway.
Yeah,
so you might as well have whatever.
The people that are complaining are the people that are driving probably like a Mustang GT. And that's a completely different experience from an exhaust note than you would get from like a BMW or this. So
I just know that there are people that are bothered by the sound and it being fake, which it is fake. But that's fun.
I think the experience behind the wheel will override that feeling very quickly.
To me,
encourage you to get behind the wheel of one.
To me, what it really comes down to, like what I say on the channel always, I'm about sound and I'm about snap. You've got a fake DCT in there, which gives me the snap. And if I can map in different sounds, so like one day I can drive an LC500 V8, and then the next day I can drive a 458 flat plane V8 from Ferrari, and then like the next day I can drive an R8 V10. Like sound-wise, I'm a happy boy.
Yep. No,
So,
that'd be awesome.
I don't know. I really, really like this car. I will probably buy one at some point. It's just a matter of when. So with that, thank you guys for watching. Thank you to Hyundai for letting us have a go in your Ioniq 5N. Thank you to Road America for letting us put it around the track. And we'll see you guys in the next one.